I'm so sick. That's like really.
You're sick right now?
No. Just like with
that's
vanity
you.
and like, yeah.
Yes, that I understand. I know, we were talking about that too with Ahmed and like how much he just like cares about what other people think and
Oh, yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
I have confidence and confidence. Hey, you ever watched Sound of Music?
So long ago.
Yeah. That's what I was singing.
It could have been in there. Although it sounded like confidence was maybe not like their biggest struggle, but
Oh yeah, not for him. No, this was for me. I was singing for me. It was Amy music. Okay, that looks like it's in a good spot. Are you ready to get started?
yes.
Great. Okay, I'm gonna read my little script.
Yeah.
And then we'll get going. Hello. I'm really glad you're here. I'm Amy, and this is Amy's Wild Cards. This is the podcast where I interview people who I think are my friends with a deck of cards filled with random questions I have created. This deck will be shuffled at the beginning of each interview. Whatever questions come up in whatever order is completely up to fate. We're going to laugh, maybe cry, possibly be offended. Let's get into it. Today my friend Alyson is here.
Hello.
So Alyson, I've been shuffling for you already.
Aww.
Yep, just for you. And I think you've heard on the episodes before, but I will let you choose if I decide when I stop shuffling or you can decide.
Okay. You can keep going. Okay, now you can stop.
Okay. This way. Here we go. What were you doing right before you came here?
I was talking to a friend and a fellow, and then I was reading about 5 pages of a book that I was like, yeah, I'm going to finish this before Thursday. And then I was like, no, I'm going to send 5 voicemails to people and just kind of look outside my window. And now
Cool.
I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, great. I love that. If you could choose to have a menstrual cycle or not, what would you choose?
That's such a good question.
I'm so glad you think so.
Okay, I don't know, like, if this is crazy or not, but crazy to say, but I was on the pill forever until about 2 years ago. Forever until 2 years ago. And so now it still feels very new to be, like, acclimating to the cycle. And there's a lot to, like, complain about, of course, but there's tragic parts where I'm like, oh, like, what if I felt always how I feel on like those 10 good days or those 7 good days, and it's like what I could accomplish, blah blah blah. But I also think that it builds a lot of character to to be like all of a sudden like plunged into like insecurity and fatigue and have to like overcome that. And so I think that maybe I would keep it, and I think that it keeps you in touch with, not to be like so cliche, but I do think it keeps you in touch with nature and like the flow of things and the reality of things, because the reality is nature's reality is more in tune with having a cycle than not.
Yeah, I will say I do find that to be accurate for myself, because the birth control I'm on, I don't have a period. I haven't for like at least over a year now. And I do feel ungrounded sometimes, and I'll be like having like extreme fatigue, or I'll still have some symptoms, but I'll have no idea why. Yeah. And so I think part of maybe why like I had such a hard week like this past week, and I just would come home from work and I would sleep, and I had so much other stuff I had to get done, and I just could not do it. Yeah. And I think it was like I probably was still having like PMS or period symptoms partially. I don't know. I'm going to do more research on that. But it could be related, even though I'm not physically, menstruating anymore. Have you ever love bombed someone?
Not really. My first boyfriend in college, I did get like, not psycho. Sorry, I shouldn't use words like that. I didn't get like really. I got a little bit upset with him when he didn't want to hang out with me every day.
Sure.
But no, my MO is to kind of like sit around and wait to be love bombed, which is also like kind of like the two sides of the same coin. So
Yeah.
one's not really better than the other.
I like the waiting. I like the imagery of like waiting to be love bombed. Like any day now, you guys. Like I'm ready. I'm willing. Let's go.
Putting yourself in positions to be, which is like not.
What does that look
wonderful.
like? What does a position to be love bombed look like?
A position to be love bombed is it's COVID. You're living at your parents' house. You graduated school, undergrad a week ago. You're on Tinder. You meet a Marine who's just as crazy, if not crazier than you. He's telling you I love you after you've met up once and met each other and know each other for 3 days.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah.
I'm so special. That's why you feel this way.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and also the world's ending, and this is perfect for that. So.
Right. Oh my God. I feel so lucky that when COVID happened, I was in a relationship that I think started like like 6 months prior, and so we just started like living together, and which of course is early, but I don't know, sometime between 6 months and a year we had been together, and then so we were just together that whole time, just ordering takeout, smoking weed, coloring books. I was just like at the peak of so many of my addictions, and I was just like, I'm happy. I just get to stay in this little cocoon and you know, have this person with me. And but I think about like if I wasn't in a relationship then, and like in a happy relationship, I don't even know. I'd either be such a problem or I'd be like so alone and scared, and yeah, that was a wild time. What hill will you die on?
I think I just said this about something. What? Oh no! There's so many good hills. There's so many good hills for dying. Shoot. Okay. Hill I will die on. This is. Don't play the TikTok out loud in the coffee shop. Don't play the TikTok out loud in the coffee shop. Don't play the reel. Don't play your friend's voice note out loud. Other hill that I will die on. Y'all are gonna eat your words in less than 5 years about AI being all important, all knowing. And then what's like a lighter one?
Yeah, we can be too serious.
Hill I will
Whatever you want.
die on. Oh my god.
Those are good though. I like the TikTok out loud in the coffee shop move. Yeah. I just like any kind of like music or anything without the headphones, I don't understand.
No, why? I don't. What? It is such an indicator of something deeper.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a hill I will die on. This won't be popular. I think that bad taste has moral implications, or at least,
Okay.
like I've been talking with friends about, like, oh, like someone will really like this guy, but like, oh, this thing is like cringe to them, or like they really don't like their style or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that you should pay attention to that, because maybe
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that they're a universally bad person, but they're not, something about that is important that you don't like that, and it's incompatible, and you should pay attention to that.
I understand what you're saying, but I think on the surface of someone hearing that, they're going to be like, so if somebody doesn't dress well, they're a bad person. But I know that's not what you mean.
That's not what I mean.
Yeah.
Moral is not just good or bad. I think, well, it is actually kind of like that. Spiritual. It has compatibility implications. There.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like it's those little like indicators and things that you're like, like you were saying, like something isn't sitting right. I don't know exactly what it is. And then when we blow those things off, they end up becoming bigger later, or we figure it out. Like I was dating this one guy. I'm pretty sure he watches this show, so he might see this. Yeah, super cool. So I was dating this one guy, and well, he doesn't know this, so he won't know I'm talking about him. But for some reason, he reminded me of one of my brother-in-laws, and this is a brother-in-law that I don't think he's gonna watch this, but that there were just some stuff. There were some things about him that like you just
Yeah.
I don't want to say too much, but there was just something that I didn't like. And so then this guy, I was like, why is this guy reminding me of my brother-in-law? And there was like a certain thing, and I couldn't pinpoint it. Long story short, this guy ended up being one of my most chaotic and psychotic exes I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just anytime there's something we're like, it's not quite right, it's going to get bigger and it's going to explode. Spell velociraptor.
Wait, hold on. Okay. VELOCORAPTOR.
Replace one of your O's with an I and you got
Yeah.
it. You knew.
Yeah. It
That's
was an
okay.
O or an I, darn. Thank you.
Oh, Alyson, what are you going to say to this? Rate yourself on a scale from 1 to 10, and then rate your mom.
In just like entire quality of being.
However you want to take that.
Man. Okay.
But I like entire quality of being because that is how I would probably take it.
Yeah. It's interesting because, for many reasons, but because I'm also thinking about potential and I'm also thinking about forward trajectory, which isn't necessarily like who I am in this moment.
Who you are right now.
Who I am right now.
I don't give a
I'm
fuck about
so
you rating
for
your
real.
potential.
No, and I love this because you're an Aquarius and you're always like so on it, and it like inspires me to be honest. I'm gonna say 7, factoring in all my efforts. Factoring in my efforts and intentions. I'm gonna say I really do try hard. I've not been on my best behavior lately, but and then I think for factoring in her beautiful intentions and efforts and all that like has been revealed to me more and more that she's had to deal with in like raising me and my brothers, I think definitely like 8. My mom.
Mom gets an 8, 1 higher than you. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. Describe God.
Ah, I love that. God is okay. Actually, you're gonna like this. I was just talking to my friend about this the other day. I didn't. So I came to God, and I also came for the first time in like a really close.
If that was at the exact same moment, I would love that.
Okay, in a sense.
Oh, okay.
Well, I had been on SSRI forever until, stay with me, 2 years ago. And so I didn't really know what coming was. And I was also like working a program and I was on the step where you like need to find God. So what came first? I think the coming. Came first. The coming came first. And then because like throughout my life I'd been like, oh, like maybe I just came. I don't know. Like,
oh, that's the worst.
yeah. And people were like, no, you're going to know when you come. And I was like, well, all right. And then I knew when I came. And then that's how the extreme certainty of that.
Yeah.
And the obvious like good feeling euphoria of that was how I knew when God had arrived, because it felt the same exact way where I was like, I am extremely certain that that's what it is. There's no question that that's God. And there's this new good feeling. And so God is like that. Like that's how I experience
God is an orgasm.
Yeah.
Literally what you just said.
Yeah, and also just very clear. Just certain. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I love that. That's great. I appreciated that answer. And like growing up just like super conservative Christian, I would have never been allowed to like have the conversation we just had.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of cool that like I can do that now.
No,
and,
totally.
and then have like that insight because it's very interesting. Who gave you permission?
I would like to say God, and he has, but I think more realistically, other people is still who I'm feeling permission from. My friend gave me a tarot reading last night, and I was really confused about like whether I'm doing the right thing, like abstaining from certain behaviors, and she just like put the cards out and then looked at me and sighed and was like, you're doing the right thing. You need to stay on this path. And I was like, awesome. And I know it's not a great practice to like have everything weigh on one person's opinion, but I just like trusted her and I was like, okay, she gave
validation me. And like from a trusted source. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I get that totally. Where is God?
God's in truth. I mean, God made truth, but like anything that feels just like consistently, undoubtedly correct and real, God is in, I think.
That's great. When was the exact moment you realized you were in love with me? Describe it slowly.
No, this is really good. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
am I allowed to say you were at a meeting?
Yeah. Which
So first you spoke at this meeting that I was at, and I was like, awesome. Okay, this person like seems to really have an understanding of themselves and a grasp of themselves, and it's like interesting. And at the time, I was being directed to find people whose recovery I respected and get their number and talk to them. And I went to a meeting that I saw you at, and we were at a restaurant after, and I forget what you were saying, but just the way that you speak, I was like, I want to feel that certain and that self-contained. And like there's not to be this person, but there's like a vibration of yeah. There's a vibration of like of love like for yourself, from yourself, that's like a hard thing to talk about because it always sounds backhanded, but I just like it's not like you just have a great balance, I think, of knowing who you are, being aware of like reality and other people, but also just like not sacrificing yourself. And I was like, I want her number. So I don't know. I think that's when I fell in love with you.
Oh, thank you. This like I when I wrote that question, I don't know, it was just one of those like, this is silly and blah blah blah, I'm a dummy. But it's been so like just fulfilling and kind and like gracious, like the answers that are being given and how people see me. And I think this is true for all of us, how other people who care about us see us versus how we see ourselves can be so different. And people are always like, be easy on yourself, be gentle, but like what you see is the version of myself I wish I was. And it's like, how do I see myself more accurately? Like, how do I do that? And I'm sure I've mentioned this to you before, but sometimes with difficult people, before I've heard this prayer, or just like this thought line of like, God, please help me see this person how you see them. So they're a little more palatable, right? and I think I don't know why, but I thought to say that for myself, like, God, help me see me as you see me. And I think God works through people and through our friends, especially, and those who care about us and love us. And so that question that came from a place of probably insecurity and ego has turned into God just being like, oh, sweet girl, like, let me just give you these like lovely people in your life to echo how I see you. And so it's just been really lovely. So thank you.
I'm glad. Yeah, no, I find that question like really funny though, because it's like in itself acknowledging that like you want and desire that as much as we all do, and it's being very straight up about that.
Yeah.
So.
Maybe I should add a question in there where I get to like give that same thing back to the person, which I don't know what that would look like since I'm asking the questions, but I don't know because it feels like I'm taking a lot. You know what I mean? And I don't want to just take.
The rest of the interview is like you like being interested enough to ask me questions.
Okay, so it feels fair.
It feels like I'm getting the better end of the deal, so don't
Okay,
worry.
great. Great. What is the best religion?
I'm doing work on step 2, so I was just writing this thing about like my gripe with the idea that like there is one true religion. I mean, I grew up like saying all the things in the Catholic Church and the prayers that you all recite of like the one true God, the one true. But I feel like what counts is that you have faith in something abstract at all. Because so much of it is like geographically, culturally based,
Yeah.
whatever. Everyone knows this.
Yeah.
That it's like you're going to get to heaven as like a Hindu and God's going to be like, you didn't say my name right. Like, and you're gone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that that's what is going to count, you know? Just having faith in something abstract. So I don't think there's any one right one.
It's funny that some people have been giving me an answer.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, like, okay, I respect a little
Isn't
bit.
that kind of surprising though?
That's how I feel.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. Aren't all bisexuals technically pansexual since the binary does not exist?
I heard this question on your show and I was like, that is a point. I suppose I am solidly straight. I can't speak to what other people are up to, but I think that there's a point there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Is God pleased with you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think in terms of like effort and daily intentionally seeking, like asking like what he wants, I'm very open to that. So I think as a sinful human being, that's the most you could maybe want from me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, God created you, so they know what your ass is going to be up to. And they're like, yeah. And if God's like, you're doing your baby best, just like a good parent, right? Like, if your parent sees that you're trying and you keep going back to them for maybe redirection or help or whatever, like, why would they be mad at you?
Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about yourself?
What is it? I make myself laugh a lot.
That's great.
Yes. Until I start like doing it kind of in a public, I'm like saying something to myself. I don't know. But you know,
like insane.
Yeah, I've had to start like really paying attention to that because I'll just like be around my building or something, like practicing having a conversation with somebody. But no, I think that it's funny. What else? I think as I've grown more recovered, a sense of like general style has emerged, which I am happy to like. I don't know. I feel more comfortable in my skin, I guess. That's not really an answer.
So your favorite thing about yourself is that you can make yourself laugh a lot. That's good. You don't need to list 10 things unless you wanted to. I mean, we have a little more time. We can keep talking about that, or you can tell me what kind of type of cat you are.
Oh. Yeah, okay, so I have a dilute tortoise shell and well, I have
Detailed.
one. Yeah, but
I never heard people be that detailed about what kind of cat they have.
it sounds really silly, but the thing is it is a whole
Are their personalities
situation.
different?
Yeah. Well, not like different.
Because they're beautiful. Yeah.
They're beautiful, but she's really, really like vocal and really intense personality. They attach to one person, to one place. And I had a cat before her, so I know what the other ones are like as well.
You know what cat business is, yeah.
A little bit. But I don't know. I think that me and her, we like roughhouse. I think that I might be like her.
Yeah.
On the inside. Yeah.
Cool. What is a feeling you hate that you have and that you'll have sometimes, I guess I should say, and how do you get rid of it?
Anger feels like too much to hold in my body. How do I get rid of it? Calling my dad, who listens so much and has by now figured out how to like talk to me in that state. But also I think it just comes from a big collide with like my will and God's will. It's like, oh, this is a huge sign that I need to be in acceptance right now. And ever since I kind of started incorporating that more into like my daily thoughts, it really has been so much less.
So, dark thought. What about when your dad's not available?
Yeah.
What would that look like?
Other friends, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. you would like transfer. And I feel like you could still talk to him in your way, just maybe not talking back as directly. But I just think about that because my dad's not around. And there's a lot of people I talk to who, for some reason, you know how they say like you kind of like your friends are, attract similar to you? I have a lot of friends whose dads have passed away.
Okay.
And my dad passed away. So I just think everybody's dad is dead. It's like mine is. So everybody else's is also.
You're like, just wait.
Yeah. It's going to edit.
Sorry.
Yeah, but who knows? You could have 30 more years. I have no idea. Final question. We already made it to the final question. Can you believe it? For all of my guests, in our last 3 minutes, this is the only surviving audio clip of you left in existence. What do you want people to know?
Darn. I tried. I don't know if he's listening to this, but like, just know that it was, that I tried. Let's see, what else?
You want people to know that you tried. You want them to know to not play their fucking TikToks out loud at the coffee shop.
Unless it's of this recording.
Yeah, then it's fine.
Then it's fine. That I try to be honest. And that I will, if I like you, I'll come back to haunt you. If I like you.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I think I'm going to reserve my hauntings for, like, people I actually like. People who deserve it.
I think that's great.
Thanks.
Nope, there's nothing else we need to add to that. I think we'll leave that there. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Thanks.
And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week. Bye.